Hey everybody, my name is Jerry Williams, aka Greater Sapien. Thanks for stopping by once again. Today I am joined by my friend Jesse Vale,
aka Bino.
and this is just going to be a conversation. The reason we're putting this one together is we're always kind of looking for content. I said in my last video that my live stream the other day that I'm looking to have a little more positive vibe to my videos compared to last year. I don't mind doing the critical thinking stuff, but man, last year was really kind of negative. And so in thinking about what kind of more positive energy do I want to put positive energy I want to put out there, one thing is talking with Jesse. He and I, as much, often as we can, we have these nice little conversations where we just kind of just like shoot the breeze, let air things out about nerdy stuff that we're interested in. And we are we're always thinking about content, and we're like, why
Well,
don't we
there you
just
go.
record that?
And for years, we've been doing this for 25 years, almost after every movie we've ever watched, standing in a parking lot till midnight, just riffing for ourselves. And I think we've always thought that it would be funny if other people, like, if only we could film this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of like thinking about content, I get frustrated with myself for not putting things out on a regular basis. But we have these conversations all the time, and so why don't we just put it in front of you?
Yeah.
We have things that we're interested in that are beyond the cynical things of conspiracy theories and politics.
Even though
And
they're added in here, they're sprinkled in there. Yeah.
well, yeah,
I don't think we're ever going to really get away from politics on some level,
right, but that's not the focus.
but that's not the focus.
That's not
Exactly.
that's not the focus.
Right.
And there's a slate of things coming up. There's all the new Marvel properties coming up, the Disney properties that we've both enjoyed, things that we can be talking about. That's just much more interesting for us to just shoot the breeze over. So that's
Yeah.
why Jesse is here with me, and hopefully we're going to do this on a regular basis. I'm
I would
think,
hope so.
I'm
And I want to
thinking.
point out that, like, right now, uh, I feel on camera. That's another reason that we're trying to do this more often, so that I can kind of get rid of that feeling a little bit. Because in front of a small group of people, which I can imagine that you are, uh, I can get really wacky. And that's kind of what's funny. Like, I don't know if I can actually stay within this.
Yeah, well,
when
that's why
when
you.
my normal movements, this is part of it, is my reaction. So so
Oh yeah, just
at
so you know.
least understand that this is like a form of practice for me
Well, and
to
also,
get
and
comfortable.
just so you know, the relationship with me and Bino here, we he's not lying. There are times, especially when my son was much younger, that I would have to tell you, I'm like, bring it to a six.
To a six, maybe.
I would say, can you just bring it a little bit, because
Hmm.
you're just bringing you're making the whole room crazy, because
Yeah,
because people feed off of other people's energy,
yeah.
and it's great. It's great when you want the energy.
When you want the energy, yeah, exactly. So so whenever Jerry needs to take it down a notch, you'll see a jump cut, because
Right,
that's what he's told me in the video. All right, Bean. All right. So it'll
right.
look like this. So as I was saying, yeah.
I probably will edit that right there. Uh,
Really?
just for the fun of it. Uh, but we'll see.
Eh,
Uh, this is going to be unscripted. I have a brief, like a vague outline of stuff to talk about, but we're just going to be winging this. So I know I didn't give you any warning on this
hmm,
beforehand, but one thing I do want to do is like do little segments of where I present you with something that, or you present me with something that I don't think you've seen, just to
hmm.
see you react to it, and something that's good, not like something freak out or whatever. So,
Which he knew was in my mind. Oh God, please don't freak me out
no,
for
so
comic
before we
value.
get into some of the more nerdy stuff, I have to ask: have you seen the TikTok sea shanty?
TikTok sea shanty. I think maybe. I'm not on TikTok a lot, but that sounds
I don't do
familiar.
TikTok at all, but so this is something that popped up on Twitter or whatever.
It
Okay,
did. Okay.
so maybe you haven't. So like I said, if you have, we're going to chop this out. But if not,
Right.
but so this is just something I think you'll appreciate just creatively.
Okay.
I thought it was really cool. I showed it to Robin earlier, and so I thought, okay, it's a positive thing. You'll like it.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Good.
let's let me. This is TikTok, so it's a built thing. So this is the original.
Okay.
Once was a ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was a Billy of Tea. The winds blew up her bow, dipped down below, my Billy boys blow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. Hands to the side, harped and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and
So that's the first part.
Got it.
Okay.
And then TikTok adds on TikTok.
Right. Now I don't have I don't have like the basic steps. I was looking for the progression, but here's the latest one that I came across.
Okay.
ship that put to sea. The name of the ship was a Billy of Tea. The winds blew up her bow, dipped down below, my Billy boys blow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. She had not been 2 weeks from shore when down on her a right whale bore. The captain called all hands and swore he'd take that whale in tow. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Before the boat had hit the water, the whale's tail came up and caught her. Hand to the side, harped and fought her when she dived down low. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go.
Yeah, that's this is what social media is for. You know that I'm a big proponent for it. I know all the problems there are with social media, and I get it because I get it. But this can only happen through things like that. And I've seen a few things on TikTok that are like this, where people just join. Some of them they don't even like. Did that guy intend to do this, do you think?
Oh, probably. He put the
Right.
lyrics, on there real good. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, but there are some people that, get taken over with this sort of stuff, and it's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of these types of things I got to show you that I know of.
Now, so right off the bat, I thought of you because this makes me think of. Why would I think of you when I hear this?
Well, because this reminds you of dwarves singing.
Yes. Yes.
Which is actually the one I want to show you.
I think is it the one with all the bearded guys?
I think so, but they're singing the song that was in The Hobbit, which is the song about them going back to their.
I think I've seen that one, but I think it's a bunch of bearded dudes.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the bearded because it's similar, just the voice tones. But but it may have started with that one.
Yeah.
One thing that was really funny to me that I noticed was the guy that was in the forefront with the beard says on top that he's the baritone to keep things smooth. But to me, because of how it was formatted, to me, he was the bass. And it threw me off every time the bass would have a solo. And he didn't move his mouth. Because he looked like one. And I kept looking down. I was like, it's that guy? Yeah. Basses always surprise you.
Yeah.
They're usually like this skinny guy. Isn't that like an old trope from like Warner Brothers cartoons that is always the teeny tiny skinny guy that.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Brian's on Twitter now, right? Okay. Brian Dyer. Brian
Yeah.
Dyer's on Twitter now.
Oh, good. I got
Friend of ours who's a bass vocalist.
Yeah.
All around just like brilliant vocalist.
Look him up. Look him up.
I'll probably put a link in the description.
DYER Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll put him. I think it's called. I think it's Bass Brian or Brian Bass or something like that, or BD Bass or something like that in Twitter. Yeah, so I thought of you on this because we're nerds and we're geeky people. We all have our things. I'm a comic book guy. I'm like deep entrenched in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Bino is Tolkien. And,
Tolkien, yeah.
And Dungeons and Dragons is his
even
thing.
though I always say Tolkien, and it's hard to say Tolkien, even though that's how he pronounces it.
Yeah, I know. I don't care.
So everybody out there in the comics, I know I'm trying to say Tolkien. I really am.
Yeah, I'm not.
And this actually illustrates the entire thing right there.
But so I know it's opening up a can of worms, but at some point, one of these, maybe not this next. The next video, I'm want to talk about like the new Marvel show that's coming out, but. Right. We will have. I think we'll have to have an episode where we talk about Lord of the Rings and or Dungeons and Dragons, and in order to do that, I'll probably put it out an announcement that people can ask Bino questions about his thoughts on certain things. So open up.
Oh, that'd be brilliant.
Because I don't know these things. I don't
give me an outlet, and maybe I will never shut up about it.
I don't necessarily know how to what question to ask. But if we do say like a slight interview format where I'm given a whole bunch of questions to pull information out of Bino about, I think it'll be very interesting.
Or some trivia,
right? Oh yeah.
I know some inner details. I could do some studying up. Some stuff I don't actually know. At all, because honestly, there are some books I haven't gotten to, and that's because they're not really the core books,
right?
But I do want to point out here that here is the difference between Jerry and I. So Jerry just said like, oh, I'm into the cinematic, the comic book and the cinematic universe of Marvel, so on and so forth. I'm curious about that stuff. So I will ask Jerry. I will coax questions out of Jerry, and I'll make him think of things. He's like, I don't know, I gotta look that up, sort of thing. Never once, and probably never ever, unless the audience provides these questions, will Jerry go, what's that all about? He won't do it. He won't do it. Especially on this subject. Because he once in a long car trip, he once let me go. He let me go. Yeah, that was the last time. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long car. He filled the space. He filled the space. But you know what? That's the time you do it. It's like, it's an ongoing thing that, Yeah.
Well, because it's a thing.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, one of the things I admire most about Stephen Colbert is that he's so into this, equal, if not more than I. And it's always just fun to watch him try not to make the entire show about it. I don't know why that is because of this. Why do you think that is because of this particular subject? Because look, any fan of anything, yourself included, if they're really excited about something, they want to talk about it. And I'm sure you found yourself in situations where people just are not into it or whatever. And you found yourself going, oh, I'm giving them more information than they want.
Right.
I'm sure we've all gone through that.
Yeah.
Why this particular subject? Is there one that's equal to it? I don't know. Star Trek, maybe? No.
QAnon.
QAnon. Well, there you go. There you go. There you go. I cannot believe that is true. And it makes me feel slightly ashamed. But
no,
I just said Star Trek, but
Star Trek, Star Wars to a certain degree at a certain time. It's different because, it's not as timeless. I mean, Star Trek and Star Wars, well, and maybe it is for certain people, but I think maybe because it's been it's Star Trek and Star Wars are ongoing and constantly being messed with.
Right.
So
Oh,
there are reasons to wax and wane on your interest in it because of what's being produced.
right.
But like after like the first couple Star Wars, there was like that show was that series was flawless. There was no touching Star Wars in terms of it being after the first couple, New Hope, 4 and 5.
Oh, right.
It was just
You're not allowed to.
it was immutable,
Yeah.
and then after the Ewoks showed up and people were like, okay, right.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and so the whole kind of Lord of the Rings, genre, it's its own section,
And I think I
it's
know.
immutable,
As we're discussing this, I think I know a little bit about why, and I think that Star Wars is about to step into this territory. Because, and I'll talk about this later. I can table myself. Um, it's hard, you guys. It's really hard. If you're a Lord of the Rings fan, but one of the reasons I think it's a remarkable series is because Tolkien made it so rich, and there's a whole series of concepts that I would like to talk about in terms of nerdiness of that, in terms of its richness and how he was able to do that. And his son gets a lot of the credit, not for recreating things, but for taking the time to edit it all together. And I think that Star Wars is about to get there, because there are people who do want to talk about the difference between lightsabers, for instance, because now there are more lightsabers. So in other words, the Star Wars universe is getting richer. And I think that means that people will, in the future, probably talk about it similarly, and people might respond to it similarly.
I think one thing that will influence that,
Hmm.
and it's one of my issues with, say, the culmination of the most recent Star Wars movies, is whether or not what is added to the Star Wars universe, what is added, whether or not it makes the galaxy bigger or the galaxy smaller.
Right.
And I think the kind of the for me at least, having too much interconnectedness with everything in like the last series, like, oh, you had to bring it back to Palpatine, you had to bring it back to this and that. It made everything smaller for me.
Right, because it wrapped in and of itself.
It wrapped in, yeah,
Mhm.
as opposed to like, for example, say what you will about people have about the Last Jedi. Yeah, The Last Jedi.
Mhm.
There was, for me at least, there was a sense of opening Star Wars up. Whether or not it was
Correct.
executed properly is something else. But
Right.
there was a sense of we're separating ourselves from this kind of this bloodline, the Skywalker thing. As much as I love the whole Skywalker line and storyline, there was a sense of opening up the galaxy, the Star Wars galaxy to more people and more things, making it bigger.
Right.
So I think that's part of the richness that I think you're talking about when it
Yeah.
comes to.
But it is starting to get a little incestuous,
Yeah.
because
But I'm
they
talking,
are
but bringing
holding
it
in
back
on
to Lord of the
themselves.
Rings type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
When a writer adds little things that allow things to expand, like, oh, that has history. When you talk about something and you give it that detail, it gives it a sense of long history. That makes the universe that exists in bigger.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so having a big universe, I think, allows people to kind of fill it,
Yeah.
or
I'll give you a
fill it
good
with
example.
themselves, or having, as opposed to tightening everything up too much, and then then you can argue whether or not you like this or not, or this and that. But so I think it depends on where Star Wars goes. It
Yeah.
could either get bigger or it can get smaller, and I think that'll make
Yeah,
it.
and I do think that it has done. I do think that it has done some things to open it up. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. The tragedy, with getting the Death Star plans.
Oh, Rogue One.
Rogue One, thank you.
Yeah.
That was, now we're talking about a Tolkien-esque type of detail. It's based on things. It actually references them and brings them back to a degree,
Mhm.
but it fills in a blank that you had. It's not creating one. We all had, even if we didn't recognize it in the back of our heads. Where did those plans come from? She even mentions that people died obtaining them, doesn't she?
Yeah.
And
My
we're like,
mom.
who? Right?
Yeah.
And it was an aside. We never thought about it for the rest of the movie. We never thought. I bet you know there were times when I watched that movie. It never even crossed my mind to even think about it
That those
anymore.
people that died were people.
We're people.
Yeah.
But that's the depth,
Right.
right?
Right. But also I would add they also did it without somehow bringing in, having it too tied. There's a slight like genetic thing in there between just like the genes of Star Wars. There's some Force user in there. There's a little bit connection in there, but it's not like Obi-Wan was secretly talking to people.
Correct.
So
Right.
it would make it small.
Where it was nice to bring in Leia at the end because that was the neat bow, and it was a neat bow. And I in hindsight, knowing the future, I would have been upset if they didn't put her in there, considering that she had just passed away and all these things. That was very meaningful. And there's something else too, really tugging on, or not even tugging, strumming an emotional string also makes it rich.
Mhm.
Whereas, even if they did go around and loop back on themselves with these recent movies where Palpatine had to be worked into it somehow, and I guess they were trying to make that little neat bow, but it just seemed there was no emotion anymore.
Mhm.
It was like, let's get through this.
Right. And then let's hit these, let's hit these notes, these story notes, and these emotional notes that aren't necessarily earned.
Right.
But we're going to have the music and have the people crying so that we know that it's important.
That it's important. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Instead of doing the real work of building a story.
Yeah.
And that's something maybe our guests, our watchers here, should understand about me and Jerry, how important the building of a story is.
Yeah. Right.
Really how important that is to us.
So hard segue into something that will come up on this show is the fact that the Snyder Cut is going to be coming out in a couple months.
We're gonna watch it,
and we're going to watch it. But that's a situation where I'm a huge comic fan. I love the DC heroes. I want them to do well, but that whole universe is cinematic universe that they tried to make there is a situation for me where they were trying to get stuff without earning it.
Yep.
They were trying to go. It's like they went straight to like the Superman Batman showdown from Dark Knight, like right off the bat. It's like,
come on,
you got to earn
and
that.
do it wrong,
and do it wrong, and which also then pulls it out from it takes that arrow out of the quiver for later. We can't use that now.
Nope.
You can't use it anymore. Same thing with there's a whole Dark Superman storyline that they were trying to go for with Darkseid and all this kind of stuff that only worked in the comics because there was years of buildup and all this emotional validity to these characters. So then when things happened in a certain way, it mattered. And so
we're not talking about. I mean, this can be done. Still, it's in years. It has to be slow.
Yeah.
The time frame is years, but it doesn't have to be like I want to make sure that they understand. You're not saying like you need to have 50 years to really build up knowledge base or emotional. No, because the Marvel universe did it.
Yeah, they did.
I felt bad for some people.
Yeah. It's they did it by incremental steps. And they gave these people that nobody cared about. It's like, right. I'm sorry, I'm a huge, comic book fan, but when they said they were making
Guardians
Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, the first standalones, I was like, what? But But they didn't have Fantastic Four. They didn't have access to it. They didn't have, they didn't have access to Spider-Man. They didn't
Right.
have access to the X-Men. And, it's like, who likes Thor other than, beyond me? I mean, I like Thor as a character, but come on, as a movie, as a tent pole to start a thing, Iron Man, what are they going to do with that? Yeah, I had doubts, but
Yeah.
what they did was they took these people that didn't already have a lot of emotional like story to them and gave it and made people. He said, okay, we're going to introduce them to you and we're going to give them to you, and
Right.
then we're going to expand from there. A little bit of misstep with Thor for a while there, and then they were able to kind of reconfigure. But what they did was they established it. They did in baby steps. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, and then
Right.
and then the Avengers
This
pulled it all together.
and you'll hear me say it over and over again, ladies and gentlemen. This is why you give the production of these movies to nerds.
What?
Not corporate heads. None. Not even one. Just give it to the nerds or the nerd entrusted.
Yeah, that's got to
And
be
let them go.
because, for example, I'm not going to. I am not going to say that Zack Snyder is not a nerd, but he's a nerd that has no patience.
Right.
He's he wants to get to the cool. He wants to he wants to get to the awesome without having earned it.
Whereas Joss Whedon, having done I can't remember which movie he did or which movies.
Which one? Like
I guess the Avengers.
Serenity, or oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he did Avengers and second Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I mean, I don't know what it is, and this, there is a thread. There's something that is given to you that even though it's so small, you can follow it, and this is what I love about Tolkien. To double back, but what I love about Joss as well. It only took 12 hours for me to fall in love with absolutely everyone on, or less than 12 hours to fall in love with absolutely everyone on Firefly.
Yeah.
Totally invested. So what is happening there? I guess, I mean, was it because we wanted to understand what that universe was? Remember that when you were first watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they talking
Right.
in different pigeons? A whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, was that part of it?
Yeah. But that's a little bit of a richness that you're talking about. Little things that give nuance and texture to
a mythology, as it
yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good catch-all. There's a mythology to it. Maybe that's why Captain did well, because Captain America, even if you don't even understand who his character was going in, it's Captain America. So Americans sort of, you know what I mean? That there's a mythology there. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because he was originally in World War II sort of things.
Right. Yeah. And we can compare, say Captain America to Wonder Woman, because they are both kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
In one was World War I, one's World War II, and there is a little bit, at least for most people, there's a little bit more of emotional connection to World War II. There's a better understanding, of that conflict and its effect on people.
And how
and they kept it kind of earthbound. I mean, sure, they had the whole cosmic cube, blah 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 blah, MacGuffin thing going on, but having it not be God's, right out the bat, kind of makes it a little bit more of an emotional attachment to people.
Mm-hmm,
Not that I didn't like Wonder Woman. I enjoyed Wonder Woman.
I did too.
One reason we're having this conversation is because we had a really long conversation about the second Wonder Woman movie last week. Sorry for the dogs barking in the background. And our kind of collective disappointment with that movie, even though I would still give it a positive rating in general.
Yeah, I would.
It's just, I was
like, I'm surprised at the people who I know who are like, it's junk, and I respect their opinions. And I see some of the junk. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's another category, and that is the category of Alien v Predator. I don't care about the story.
Yes, there is that.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I want to see aliens and predators duke it out. That's all I care about.
That's hilarious.
Just say going in, hey, we're gonna fight, and do it.
Yeah.
Did I feel that way about?
Hilarious that you mentioned that, because I was going to say, but just so you know, we're not all. I was literally just going to say, just so you know, we're not all just like, oh, you know, the nuance of the story is blah, 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 blah. You know, I like robots blowing shit up.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
You know, I do. It's like,
yeah.
You know, I wanted to like Transformers more because it was, you know, robots blowing shit up. I wish it would have been better, but anyway. But yeah, so there is that part of us, but at the same time, there's a desire. And so for me, I can say that, you know, X movie, I enjoyed. It was shit, but I enjoyed it because I like watching stuff blow up good.
Yeah, there's some movies. I mean, another good example, and it maybe should be the actual example, except for me, instead of me saying Alien v Predators, James Bond. They're all shit movies, really. I mean, some of them recently, you know, started to get a little bit more emotional. I was able to get into some of the mythology of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, watching a relationship between M and 007 that, you know what I mean?
Right. But yeah.
But they're shit. But I want to see 007 fucking shit up. I do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. I want to see these unrealistic things.
Yeah, just like the American 007 featuring the American Jackie Chan, which is Mission Impossible movies.
Mission Impossible movies. There you go.
It's the American 007, which I call featuring the American Jackie Chan, which he's trying to be by doing, you know, I'm going to do as many stunts as possible, you know, Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's like they don't make a whole lot of sense. Why are people still alive after all of that?
Nope.
But the fact, you know, it's, you know, watch them roll the dice and take risks in terms of just like the plot. Okay, that's the plot you decided to go with. Okay.
Right.
And having it come together in a spectacle. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm totally good. The Bourne movies.
Fast and Furious.
I'd never watched Fast and Furious. Couldn't get into it.
Oh, see, Fast and Furious are some of the best horrible movies. I mean, they are garbage. Every single one of them. But at one point they figured out that they're a science fiction series or something, and physics doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. I remember when this happened. I remember you saying like, oh, well, they just,
you know, they started off
genre.
It's about cars, you know, and stealing cars, and we can drive fast. And then it was like, no, it's about heists. And then it's like, okay, now it's about, you know, just like superheroes who use cars, you know, as extensions of their powers. And I'm just waiting for The Rock to be a transformer in the next, just have him straight be a transformer, and have Jason Statham be an alien that's in human form, just to culminate it, because that's where they're going. They're just like,
that's where they're going.
They're just like, it's like, oh, The Rock's a cyborg. Now it all makes sense.
Now everything is. Oh man, there was something that you were saying in there, and I thought, oh, I should say this, and I can't remember what it was now. Going into talking about,
so you know, if you ever, you know, I don't know if there's a one to watch. Maybe I'll find one for you of a Fast and Furious.
Oh, I remember what it was.
But yeah, they're cartoons. They are.
Oh, maybe if you put together a few clips and just discuss it with me, that'd be fine. Because that's another dynamic that we're going to get into here, is that much of the time, Jerry and I do enjoy telling each other the stories of the things we're not going to watch.
Right.
Because we get to weave a story. We get to watch a story being woven. I mean, granted, it's not our story, but you know what I mean? We get to touch on the things that we go back and forth. Everybody does this. You know, when you've talked about your favorite movies, you jump back and forth. But here's something that we forgot about, Jerry, because this is what reminded me of it when you said that every single one of those movies was crap. We haven't done a craptacular movie fest in so long, and nobody knows that we do them.
Yeah, back when you went to theaters.
When we went to theaters, yep. And also theaters that
Multiplexes, yeah.
that didn't have two entrances, because that's what made it more difficult. We had to find the ones with just one straight back behind the scenes, because yes, we're going to admit to a small crime here, but yeah, we went to go watch crappy movies. I think 3 per session.
I think one time we did 4.
And you pay for one because dollars is votes, and we're not going to vote for that. So and I can't tell you, we had a whole system, remember, before the movie was this was before the tags at the end of the credits.
Oh yeah, this we're talking late 90s.
Yeah,
early
early aughts. But
yeah,
going to the bathroom, walking out of the bathroom, going straight to the behind the ticket taking. Remember they had the popcorn booths and stuff that was back there,
right?
Grabbing a big popcorn and a big ass soda and walking with purpose. That's all you need to do, ladies and gentlemen. That's all you need to do. Because it doesn't even occur to them that somebody with fresh popcorn hasn't paid for their ticket.
Right.
It just doesn't happen. So
yeah, once we're in the theater.
Once you're in the theater, you have to pay a little.
Just walk like you belong there.
Know where you're going.
Yep. Go to the bathroom, come back out. I think at one time we considered having a change of jacket.
Yeah, we did. That's and I also this is why politics is woven in. There's also something to be said about walking next to a 6-foot black guy that means that people aren't going to.
That was one thing we were concerned about, though.
Yes, initially. Initially, because
we're a pair. Yeah. It's like, oh, there's this 4'1" white guy.
4'1". Oh,
so
I'm actual size on your TV screen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. But there would be us as a pair.
Yeah,
and that's one thing that is recognizable.
It is recognizable.
Is those two walking together.
Yeah,
so that would be something that we had to be concerned about. Yeah, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, no, and I just remembered that because this happens a lot, and I just remembered one where Jerry compared me to that little dog that jumps around the bigger dog in a Warner Brothers cartoon. Please add that in right there, just a clip.
Just a cut there.
Oh boy, we're gonna have fun beating up a cat, ain't we, Spike?
There, I just edited it in right there. Hopefully I just did that. I think looking at the time, we're gonna have to stop here. I didn't schedule this very well, but the goal is to, we're gonna watch some shows during the week, probably get together on a Saturday and have this conversation, cut it together, and maybe put these out on Sunday on a regular basis, as a discipline for ourselves, and also just to have a conversation with you folks.
And each other.
Yeah, real quick, Ben. One thing that did come up in the live stream I did the other day, we finally got off of politics. I started getting suggestions for shows to watch from people. So if you take a look at the comments from the live stream, I had people put things on the comment page. So that's something I told them, I said, hey, we're going to be doing this kind of thing. So maybe if you have some suggestions of shows that were your favorites that maybe we have watched or not, but also subjects for us to talk about, like our favorites. Like someone mentioned Fringe, which is like, oh man, I loved Fringe. Did you ever finish Fringe?
And you know what? I never finished it.
See?
I know. Yeah. And it was one of those things where I saw them skew and my heart wasn't in it anymore, and I need to finish it just like I finished. Well, I guess it was a similar feeling I had going into the last season of Game of Thrones. Right? It's like, they're gonna fuck this up. It's the same feeling I had going into the last season of Battlestar Galactica. Oh my god, they're gonna fuck this up.
Right.
But I gotta do it.
Yeah.
And apparently it's not so bad, right?
No, as far as I remember, I liked the way Fringe ended. Yeah.
Okay.
And then of course the fact that both of us are going through our Buffy's and Angels right now again too, so we can always
Yeah,
bring
we
those
are.
up.
We are doing that. So we should probably have a Buffy Angel go about.
Yeah. So with that, thanks for the conversation, Bean. I look forward.
Thank you,
I always
Jarrett.
look forward to these conversations. And
Yeah, me too.
Now we're just gonna record them. So
Yeah, might
everyone
as
else
well.
can enjoy them. All right.
You might even get random ones, guys, because
Oh,
if
yeah.
we just record these all the time, then there's going to be footage that we could just throw in. Even if it's just like this. Oh, God, by the way, Bean and I had this conversation the other day. Here's 5 minutes of it.
Right. Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
And by the way, everybody, there could be puppets.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's one thing.
I'm a puppeteer. There could be puppets. We don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to do an interview of you as a puppet.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Hilarious.
That'd be
All
fun.
right. All right, man. Thanks for the conversation. We're going to sign
thank
off now. Until next time, everybody, have a good day.
Be well.